friends, it's me, Amy Rebecca, your internet bestie for all things personal development, intentional living and dream chasing. I don't know who I am or where I am this morning. I don't even remember drinking this coffee, but I'm glad that I did. The morning has been a blur. I got a lot of stuff to get through today, so we are just gonna jump straight in, dive with the finesse of an Olympic diver into this month's Project Pan update. This month's meeting of the Trash Appreciation Society is now officially in session. That was my gavel, if I was a judge. Oh, one thing I will say before we take our big dive in is if you haven't already, you should go and check out my most recent video where I shared some of the biggest lessons I've learned from my 5+ years of doing Project Pan. I know you wouldn't think it to watch these videos that I'd been doing this for 5+ years because it's still very much a chaotic mess a lot of the time. So if you're interested in that, I will link that video down below. I also suggest while you're down there, subscribe. Takes 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds. Hit that little subscribe button. Now I'm gonna pull up my cosmetics inventory spreadsheet, which as always, if you want to get your hands on this, I will have it linked in the description box. It has everything you need if you are a spreadsheet nerd and you want to keep tabs on your cosmetics inventory. It is a space for annual inventory, which is broken down by category. Then you have a running inventory so that you can see changes year on year. We have the use up segment so that you can keep track of all of the products that you've used up, as well as the value of those products each quarter. There is a 6-month use up update, and then there is of course the Project Pan, which is what we are focusing on today. As you can see, there is a lot going on this spreadsheet at the moment, so we're just going to start at the top and we're going to methodically work our way through each of the products. So let's start with the Wet n Wild highlight in Blossom Glow. Now I'm very much aware that I'm not going to be able to completely pan this highlight by the end of the year. Maybe by the end of next year, who knows. These powder products take forever to use up. We know this, we appreciate this, we give ourselves time and space. It is what it is. But one of the goals that I set for myself in this year's Project Pan was to completely use up this bottom edge of product. So earlier on in the year I worked on using up this edge, completely cleaned that out, and now we are flipping onto the other side and we're trying to use up this edge here. There is quite literally method to the madness here. That's how you know I take my Project Pan very seriously. I've got strategy. I sit down with a board, I put pins in it like detectives trying to solve a mystery. Not really, but I have thought this through, and I do wonder actually whether this is possible by the end of the year. That might have been wildly ambitious, but there is some progress month on month. In terms of weight, we have no change. It was 34 grams last month and it is still 34 grams this month. We keep at it. Next, let's talk about the NYX Baked Blush in Pinched. And for the first time in the history of me trying to pan this, which feels like an eternity, I actually feel like I'm starting to see a difference. Now that could just be because last month I scraped off the top layer just to make sure there wasn't any hard pan, and so obviously there's a visible difference between the very jagged edges that I had made with all that scraping, and now obviously it's smoothed out. But when I look at that tiny little hole in the middle, I don't know if it's my mind playing tricks on me. I don't know if it's just desperation that's making me almost hallucinate, but I think that pan looks closer. I feel like we are getting there, right? Right? Please tell me I'm right. I need some validation in this. And for weight for this one, we do have a change. We had 15 grams last month and we're down to 14 grams this month. I've had a few people asking me why I don't invest in like a better scale. I literally have just a kitchen scale from Amazon, and I know that you can invest in better, more sensitive scales that will weigh things to like the 0.01 gram, and that way it would be easier to track my progress, because obviously gram per gram of something like this, it's so small you're not going to be able to see the difference anyway. I did think about that for a little while, but ultimately my goal with the Big Makeup Use Up Challenge is to just own less stuff. I want less stuff in my life. I want to be more intentional about my purchasing habits, and so running out and buying a new scale when I have a perfectly good one, it could be better, yes, but it does the job to an extent. Like, that feels counterproductive to me. I'm trying to be a conscious consumer. Going out and buying a scale to help me be a more conscious consumer I don't know. Okay, moving on to the Estee Lauder palette. This is the Pure Color Envy Sculpting Eyeshadow Palette, the day version. Yeah, pretty much consistent with every other month that we talk about this. We can see the pan growing steadily on this shimmery brown color, and once again it looks as if I've never once used any of the other shades. And to be completely fair, I haven't used most of these, but I do use these two very regularly, but you'd never tell by looking. I feel, before I say it out loud, I feel quite confident that I'll be able to use up the whole of this brown shade by the end of 2025, and I would consider that a major success because this palette was brand new when I opened it and brought it into the project pan at the beginning of this year. I mean, it wasn't new in as much as it had been sitting in my drawer for like a year, but it was new as in I'd never used it before. So to get through an entire eyeshadow single in a year, I would say that's good going. Initially, when I brought this in, I was very much hard and fast. Anything I don't use of this by the end of the year, I'm just decluttering it. I need to get rid of eyeshadow palettes, especially the mini ones. They're just bulky, they take up space. I'm not dipping into them and I'm not using them enough to warrant how many I have. Rant, 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 rant. But now, like these two, at the end, I love them. I hate to say it. I hate to admit it out loud. I don't like the words coming out of my mouth because Estee Lauder do test on animals. I do not buy animal tested products anymore. This was a gift, and that's the reason I was really strongly wanting to declutter it by the end of the year if I didn't use it up. But now I'm like, can I bust this thing open and just take those eyeshadows out? Maybe I'll buy some little pans and like break them up and pan them, because I don't really want to keep this whole thing, but I don't want to get rid of these. I use them a lot. What a quandary. That's a problem for a different day, I feel. I don't have to decide that now. Next, we have the infamous bane of my life, the Pantene Mousse. This is a battle that I did not win. I was so looking forward to the moment that I would be able to say, I finished it all up. I used it. I'm done. And I'll never get that sense of satisfaction because something within the mechanism of the little spritzy thing is broken, and now whenever I try and spritz out the mousse, it just comes out in like a liquid glue. It doesn't foam. It's not a mousse. It's just sticky water. So I can't use it all up, unfortunately. There's barely anything left in there anyway, so I don't feel too hung up about it. It's not like it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. But yeah, I can consider this used up as much as possible. Even though we didn't use up every single drop, it's used up in as much as it cannot be used anymore. So we're putting that to one side. It's done. That is another product panned. I did think about bringing in another product to replace that one. I do like to keep it cyclical, but there aren't any other hairstyling products that I'm wanting to pan at the moment. Everything I have in my collection I actively love and use, and if I used it up I would just have to go and repurchase it because it's part of my regular hair care routine, so it seems pointless to try and like pan one of those. I do have a lot of hairsprays because I got them on offer, picked up a few at a time, but again, like, I use those regularly. I typically tend to now at this point use my project pan as a way to cycle through products that have been stuck at the back of a drawer, that unless I was very intentional about using them I probably wouldn't, and I don't have anything left like that in my hair care category, which is super nice. Look at her go. And I wondered about bringing in some kind of other product to replace the mousse, but when I looked at the little stockpile I've got under my bed, really the problem areas now are like body lotions and soaps. I got more soap than Bath and Body Works. I don't even know if they have soap. Do they do soap? More like shower gel, right? Anyway, I've got a lot of soap and I've already got soap in the project pan. How many bars of soap can one use at one time? So yeah, that was the longest, most roundabout way of saying I will not be bringing in another product to replace this at this time. Maybe next month I'll think of something else that I can bring in, but for now, no. The next product we have is the No. 7 Lip Care Lip Cream Lip Gloss Balm thing. It's still hanging on in there. It is surely to goodness almost done. There is the teeniest, tiniest amount of product left in here. That right there is all that's left. By the way, how adorable are my nails? In terms of weight on this one, we went from 8 grams last month to 6 grams this month for a change of 2 grams. That's actually really good. Shall I say it? Will I say it? Maybe I could use this up by the end of next month. Maybe. I'm not saying for certain. I'm not saying definitely. I'm just saying it's within the realm of possibility. Okay, next. Oh, this is my moment of shame. Okay, it's the Avon Skin So Soft oil spray. I didn't use this once at all this month, and it was an accident. For some reason I convinced myself that I had completely used this up. I thought that it was already in my empties basket, and it wasn't. So I just forgot that it existed. I forgot that you existed. So no change at all on this. We had 34 grams last month. We still have 34 grams. We have like maybe 3 uses left in here. I vow to you right now in this moment that I will use this up by next month. I'm gonna put it where will I see it every day. I'll put it next to my bed. I promise you I will not be taking that into October with me. Next we have the Healing and Beauty Energy and Chakra Healing Spiritual Skincare Manifesting Spray. I don't know what's gotten into me recently, because for the first half of the year I barely used this at all, and then recently I've just been, I don't know, can't get enough of it. I've been using it to spritz my bed sheets. I love a little bit of a spritz of bed sheets. It just freshens everything up. You know, get out of bed in the morning, spritz, spritz, spritz. This doesn't, I've said this before, have like a strong scent at all. It has like a very mild rose scent, but nothing major. But I am really working through it. I mean, last month I had 219 grams of this. I'm down to 200, so that's a change of 19 grams. You can see this is where we were last month, and this is where we are now. That's quite a decent change, considering it took like the first half of the year to get to here. So yeah, I have been consistently using this. I intend to continue to consistently use this. I don't see me necessarily using it up by the end of the year, because what have we got? September, October, November, December, 4 months. It is possible, but it's gonna be tight. Like it's gonna be a squeeze. A squeeze? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. Next we have a product that I cycled in last month, which is this Glow Body Butter, vanilla almond and salted caramel. I'm gonna tell you something. It smells absolutely freaking delicious. It smells like a Bath and Body Works candle, the autumnal kind. You know, I think it's the vanilla it smells warm. It smells like you wanna just stick your face in there. But I don't love it for its intended purpose, which is moisturizing. I've noticed that since I've been using this as opposed to the Soap and Glory Righteous Butter, it's just not doing the same. Like my skin is a lot more dry, and it's not hitting. It's not. So I wouldn't recommend rushing out to buy this, even though the smell is great. I've now had a little bit of a chance to use it and form an opinion, and my opinion is smell is a 10 out of 10. Actual doing the job it's supposed to do, it's like a 4 out of 10. But I have stuck with using it because you guys know me, I just can't let things go. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't bring this in last month. I brought it in the month before. Good lord, the days are just flying by, aren't they? Last month I had 236 grams. I'm now down to 189 grams for a change of 47 grams, which is really decent. I've used up a little over half, so I feel confident that I'll be able to use this up by the end of 2025. The final product that we're going to talk about today is a little bar of soap. I got soap coming out of my ears. There's soap, so much soap. Now, was it last month or was it the month before? Because again, I don't know who I am or where I am. Okay, the month before. Yes, I brought in a lavender soap from this little gift box of soaps. This is the Wild Olive Wellbeing Soap Collection, and actually I would like to give a shout out to this. I really enjoy these soaps. This is a cute little gift set that I got. In June, I brought in the lavender soap, and if you remember at the end of last month, I just had the teeniest, tiniest little bit left. Well, I used that one up, and then I replaced that with the Clarity soap, which is a eucalyptus scent. And guess what? I used all that up, and so now I am cycling in my third little soap from this gift set, which is the Happiness one, and that's sweet orange scented. That smells zesty. I love it. So we are starting off with 20 grams of this one, and yeah, I feel really good about that. 2 more soaps gone out of my collection. I actually really love having the teeny tiny bars, not just because you get the sense of satisfaction of using them up quicker in Project Pan, although obviously love that, but it's nice because you get to cycle through a variety of scents. So I did the lavender one, I love that, then the eucalyptus, and now I'm onto the sweet orange. So it, you know, keeps things fluid, changing it up. I like that. So with that said, that is another 3 products used up in my Project Pan this month. That is a total of 14 Project Pan products panned. Try saying that 6 times fast. And I don't know, but I feel like this month I finally started to feel like I'm making a big dent. Like when I look at what I've got left, I've made good progress. But this is not everything that I've used up during 2025, obviously. If you haven't already, you can go and check out my quarterly empties videos where I talk through all of the products that I've used up and give my opinion on whether or not they're worth purchasing. I got another one of those coming up in the next few weeks. You do not want to miss it. So here is my advice. Subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you'll know. You'll be the first to know. That's all from me today, guys, except to say that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.